YouTube. So, another one of these Antoria Japanese Les Pauls, gold top and gold back. The last one I had of these in, pal Gordon had it. I said it was like one of the best Les Pauls I've ever played and one I could actually own myself. This one though, it's exactly the same. It's not exactly. It's still like if I was going to buy a Les Paul, it'd be one. I'm going to end up with one of these at some point. So it's a bolt-on neck, so it's not a real Les Paul, but it's awfully bright and ringy and stuff. Maybe something to do with this. I don't know. It doesn't have that sort of dead slab that you tend to get with a set neck Les Paul. This one's not exactly the same as Gordon's one. This one has Gordon's doesn't have this diamondy thing on the headstock, which probably means it's from the year before or the year after. I don't think Antoria just are like Arbiter and like a lot of these companies, Ibanez as well, bought the guitars from the factory, got to put a badge on it, didn't actually make guitars as such. So not really 100% sure where this one comes from. It might be a Matsumoto though, because if you look in the paint, there's a slight dink in it, so you can see it's two pieces of wood, as in front and back, like a pancake construction, which was a Matsumoto definitely did that a lot. If the truss rod just says made in Japan, in fact it's gold as well, let's go with the gold tuners. If it says adjustable steel adjustable neck, then it is a Matsumoto, but not all Matsumotos have the steel adjustable neck thing on it, but if it does have that on it, it is. Yeah, so this one has got the I'm not sure Gordon says it's got the triple binding on the neck. You can see that it's got like a white, then black, and then white. A pal up the road bought this just last week. He said it was so dirty he couldn't bring it over without giving it a deep clean. He said it was absolutely minging. He couldn't even see the fact that it had the triple binding because it was just that dirty. So I never got to see it when it was pure manky, so it was quite clean when I got it. Now it quite works. I basically had to cut the nut. The nut is a replacement. You can see it doesn't. The truss rod cover doesn't quite reach it. I think the original nut might have been slightly bigger, but I think what's happened is at some point, probably decades ago, someone's put another nut on it, not realised you have to cut nuts, so it was sitting dead high. So whenever you hit playing any notes down here, they were all wonky. You know, it's got to be cut down to the right level. Still got the original tuners on it. They're not brilliant, the tuners. They do work, and I would kind of want to keep them because they're original, but I don't know. It's up to the owner. Maybe think about putting other ones on it. I don't know. Depends how you get on with them. I mean, they don't slip or anything like that. They're just when you turn them, they don't feel expensive. They're just old. Pickups, I think they can't both be original, because this one, if you look at it, has big pole pieces on it, and this one has small pole pieces on it. I think this is the original Maxon, and I think this is a later on somebody's. They had the idea of putting a more powerful bridge pickup in, because the two original pickups would have been both the same, and if they're both the same, the chances are the neck one would be louder because the string moves more here than it does here. So maybe they thought, oh well, you know. But I mean, the neck pickup, it just sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm not 100% convinced it's a humbucker. It might be a single coil, like a sort of a really overwound one, sort of P90 more. Then the bridge pickup with the volume up. So I've got it set like a Formula 1 car just now. You do all that stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention, Elephant in the Room, there is progress, but I'll get onto that after the demo, in case you're not actually interested and you've not been following this week with my new PGM. I did say yes, my new PGM, not the PGM. So I don't know if you've noticed it when I was turning it up. This is the way these came originally wired. Volume, volume, tone, tone. Not volume, volume, tone, tone, like you would expect. But this is the way they were originally done. So I'd be tempted to leave it. It's probably not. I mean, like, obviously I could swap it over, but I mean, I think you just get used to it and it's fine. And to be honest, it makes just as much sense being neck and bridge, as in neck and bridge, as it does being neck and bridge. As far as I can tell. So this guitar is actually really pretty good neck. Some of it, I think, to be honest, part of it might be to do with the colour. It's like when you're playing it, you get the gold neck, which looks, it's just, I don't know. I've said this before, that's the bit you see when you're playing a guitar. You see the back of the neck and the top of the headstock. So make that bit pretty if you're making a guitar. So when you're playing it, you can go, yeah, I've got the gold one, rather than, because you can, okay, I can see it there looking in the mirror, but you know. What else is there? Apparently the guy said he replaced the switch. Seems very clicky, so it feels new. The tailpiece, I'm not sure is original. It's very light, and as you can see, it's when it got cleaned up, it took off some of the gold on it. I do actually have another one kicking about, which I found, which weighs about 5 times as much. I thought, oh, I'll put that on for him, but it doesn't fit. So the strings, the post spacing on this era of guitar isn't the same as what you get now. To be honest, I think, well, the Gibson one would be anyway. It will be imperial, and this is metric, so that's probably the reason Japanese didn't use imperial. They just used metric, quite rightly so. It's got the original bridge though, the nylon saddles for the authentic. So I'm not sure. Part of maybe the brightness, the way this guitar sounds much more alive than most Les Pauls, maybe because it's like a really light tailpiece, and the nylon saddles might make a difference as well. There was concern about the bridge doesn't fit exactly onto these posts, so I don't think these posts are original, but it doesn't, once the strings are on, it doesn't move, so it's fine. It's getting held down with the strings. You get floating bridges, which are good enough. I don't think it's not an issue, not for me anyway. I've got a feeling that my pal Gordon's one actually had white. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. I think it might have had a white scratch plate, white surrounds, white knobs rather than black. But I suppose I'll put some clean on. This is kind of why I think the neck pickups are obviously. It's also got 9s on it, which is. I've recently, well, not in the last few months, gone pretty much 9s in all my guitars, but most of my guitars are the 25.5 inch Fender scale, which makes it the same tension with 9s as a Gibson scale does with 10s on it. This is a Gibson scale with 9s on it, so it is a little bit light and bendy, which to be honest, I'm quite liking. I'm actually wondering if I might try, just for a laugh, I might try 8s on one of mine, just out of interest. So there's your bridge pickup, but the neck pickup. See, that's where I think it might be a single coil. It sounds awfully good and clean. I get the reverb turned up a little bit too much. bridge. Both. See, I don't normally like humbuckers and a Les Paul doesn't. It doesn't cut the clean quite the way this one seems to do. Using the orange TH30 amp, turn off the reverb, on with the rat pedal, bridge pickup. Neck. Yeah, so it's really nice. If this was mine, I don't know. I mean, that neck pickup sounds amazing though. The bridge pickup sounds good, but the neck pickup sounds amazing. If I don't really think I wouldn't do anything to it. I've done it. I would have got it set up, which I did. Cleaned it, which I did. Apart from that, it's what it is. I'm leaving the volume and volume like this way around because I would leave it that way because that's the way. It's an original one, and you can, you got to accept that these guitars. I mean, especially the original '50s ones. I mean, they did improve designs later on, but they never actually modified the guitars. Things like the volute at the back of the neck. Which they added in the 70s, and folk didn't like it. It's like, how dare you mess with the original Les Paul thing? When I drop it, I want the headstock to snap off. I don't want no strengthening, so they got rid of the volume. Stuff like that, keeping it proper vintage. There's not really much you can do with the tuners, but I mean, it doesn't go out of tune. They hold really well, so I would probably just leave them. And it depends how annoying it is. They could be upgraded. I would maybe look at like Clausen types that don't have the bolt that comes in from the top, so I didn't have to drill holes. But I would leave it the way it is. Keep it as original as it is. But again, it's one of these ones. It's like the old Japanese Les Pauls. They're not all the same. Like this and a Grant one, for example, they look the same. They're not the same. Is the answer to that. So it's a little bit of a minefield going into these, not really knowing what they are. I'm not even willing to commit to Antoria's always been good either. The two I've had, this one and the previous gold one, were both excellent. But that's not to say, because, you know, Antoria were just buying guitars from Factory A, you know, Fujigen or Matsumoto, whatever it was, in, I don't know, the early 70s. You might find in 74 they were buying it from that factory. In 75 they instead went to a different factory and made a different guitar, or something like that. Like, you know, your satellites and stuff like that, which kind of look the same, but they're nearly always black though. But you do get good ones of these, and it's, I suppose you're never going to mess it up. It's never going to be as worth much as a Gibson one, partly because of this bolt neck thing. But the thing about the bolt neck thing was I managed to shim the neck so I could get the bridge right, which you can't do with a thing. And I think, I mean, it's got a really nice brang to it, which, I mean, even though I do love my Washburn wings, they're all through neck and weigh a ton and stuff, they are a bit kind of, they're not as resonant and singing as this is. So it's kind of, I would put it as, it's a Les Paul for someone who doesn't like Les Pauls, which is me, basically. So you've got a better neck angle, it doesn't weigh a ton, and it's quite bright, but it looks like a Les Paul, and the gold top, it does do it for me, especially with the gold on the back and the sides as well. So marvellous, I'll be able to give this guy a message and say, your guitar's back. I'd imagine he'll probably come and pick it up this afternoon. So, Antoria, well worth a look at. Even when you're buying them, if you know somebody like me, you can fix them up. Because, I mean, this one, the nut needed done. Not really any other way around it. Apart from that, not very much. You know, I mean, obviously I set the intonation, changed, swapped over one of the bridge saddles was on the wrong way round, and, you know, did the truss rod, all these things, you know, did all that stuff. But really the only work that really needed done, apart from the guy actually cleaned it, he said it was pure minging. He was quite worried about it as well, because the guy apparently he bought it. Actually, my pal Gordon, who's got the other one of these, messaged the guy. It was on eBay in Glasgow somewhere, and he did. What was it? His exact quote was something along the lines of, "Yeah, I know. I messaged the guy and made an offer and stuff like that, but the guy, he was hitting me with all that mate stuff, so I decided just not to go on." Which I totally understand. It's like when I get, if it's somebody I know, that's fine. But it's like, you know, when you get, "Hey mate," you know that. Oh, what? Who am I? Who are you? I'm your mate. Am I what? I know it's probably a bit pedantic, but I feel a little bit that way. Yeah, it's all about write a nice message so someone actually wants to sell you the guitar. Is the way to do it, I think. Anyway, and even when my pal bought this, and that the guy's up here, "Yeah, no bother," accepted the offer and then delivered it to his house like an hour later, sort of thing. And he was like, kind of, "What's wrong with it?" It doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with it just because somebody's found it in the attic or something. Lovely. Anyhow, so rock on. I'm now going to talk about this guitar here, which, so there is at the end. If you're interested in Antoria Les Paul, I will no longer be talking about it. I'm going to end up with one though. I know at some point somebody is going to have one that's got lots of bits missing, needs a lot of repair, and I'm going to end up getting it in a trade or something for something. But I don't have a Les Paul. I've never owned a Les Paul. I have owned a couple of, not as nice as that one, a couple of Japanese ones that I bought to fix up and sell. So although I did technically own it, it wasn't my guitar. It was, you know, it was set aside to be sold. Yes. So the PGM, that was actually, I did a video, I don't know if you saw, just during the week, a live unboxing thing because I figured I had to do it. I could only do it in one take anyway because I had to unbox the. I could only unbox it once, otherwise I wouldn't be telling the truth. But unfortunately, there was an issue with the bridge pins and the frets are a bit worn, which it wasn't described as. So look, I'm just gonna as a wee for a wee laugh here. Where can I get on? I got a lot of advice on. People were commenting on it. Where is it? Where are we? There, right there. Is it used video comments? Yeah, for the what's in the box. Listergrin, that guitar's a lot of whammy abuse in its day and it's now good and never was good. Send it back. Irish Stew, maybe involves swapping telephone numbers for a proper discussion. Takes forever. Hope you get it sorted out. Yep. Instagram, send it back. Mr. White, oh man, that sucks. Gonna agree with the crew. Send it back. Paul Barker, gutted but send it back. Get a refund. Ronnie M, that needs returned 100%. Music is fun, Clement. How's it going? That said, I would send it back. Yeah. Pontac, bet the radius is too. It's not nothing to do with that. It's just with the radius. Okay. And then Stephen Hin's quite an easy fix if you could. So there's the other side of it. Quite an easy fix if you can be arsed. Right. Okay. Daniel, send it back. Alexander, Happy New Year. Not. Gordon, just for fuck's sake. So, yeah. And what was the other? There was still folk talking about it in the what was the last video I did? The indie one. Indie comments. Because I was talking about this yesterday as well. Brilliant, can't wait to pick it up. No, it's not that. A PRS clone. These are actually just talking about the guitar. Oh. To be fair, for a fret level Benny, a fret level bridge reset and a setup for 120 doesn't sound too bad. I pretty much agree. I don't think that was too bad a price for it. Mr. Whitesnake again, I'd send it back. Yeah, so and Jokum, send it back. Yeah, so after taking everyone's considerations on board, I totally ignored it and kept it. Yeah, I was talking just 5 minutes ago. This video might go on for a wee bit. I'm just have a wee drink to calm down. But yeah. So I worded. I luckily because I did the video. The guy who sold me noticed I had a YouTube channel. Oh, YouTube channel, blah blah blah. After I started talking to him, I bought it. So I think he saw the opening video, and you could say it's like, I'm not at it. I would never be at it anyway, because even if there was a no % chance of getting caught cheating as such, I would have known, and it wouldn't have sat right with me, and I would have therefore deserved to get hit by a bus or something. So hopefully this is all right. Yeah, so this can't be tuned. It's not been set up for nines. It was tuned really high, which might actually be part of the reason these posts have gone. So I when I noticed it was knackered in the video, I messaged to say I've got the guitar. I think it actually arrived to say the guitar has arrived. I've not opened it yet. I'm going to do a video. And then the second message after done the video was, right, I'm not happy with it. I think I might have to send it back, but I'm going to message you tomorrow after I've calmed down. Which is I've never really heard anyone else advise doing that before, but do that. I've done it a couple of times. That's what you want to do. Don't jump on it immediately, because I mean, I didn't buy this in an auction. It was a buy it now, so maybe working or something. So you get this whole thing about pure I've got it, refund, and then you message and then you don't get anything back until that was 6 hours ago. I messaged, yeah, but you messaged at lunchtime and the guy might be at work or out or something. So you got to give a bit of a chance. So I basically just let it sit overnight. I told the guy, I think part of the reason you do this is you tell the person there's a bit of an issue, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. It gives them a chance to calm down as well, so that the person on the other end isn't going to get it and go, all right, fuck it, and start fighting. They're going to go, right, okay, there's an issue, and then just let it sit overnight. Because I mean, I swung back and forward all the time, but just send it back. It's not worth it. There's a chance. I've not actually even been in it. Scott was trying to get me to go in it last night. I was like, no, I want to make sure it's mine first, so that I could honestly say, if there was a problem, it's like, well, I've not even been in it. I didn't want to start taking it to bits in case I'm not going to break something else, but you know what I mean. So I worded it very much, and I was like, yeah, it's, I mean, it's possible. Not everybody's a guitar tech, so it's possible you would never notice that if you didn't really know what you were looking at, that the bridge wasn't sitting right, and obviously if you put it wasn't in tune, so it wasn't playing anyway, and all these things. But I put that in very much in the description or in my message, which was like, I actually had to go back a little bit. I used up every single letter in the eBay. You were like, I don't know, was it 200 words or something like that? So I was like, right down to it. It was like, thanks, So I had to go in and edit it down a little bit so I could get my name in at the end. And I said, you know, it's like, yeah, maybe not seen it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not your fault. You know, whether it is or not, side to side, but I gave it not, I didn't go in aggressively because you'll not get an outcome. If I was like up here, you sold me a burst guitar and you knew it was burst, it does not help. Even if that's the case, which is not in this case, but even if you do think that is the case, don't say that. Always say, oh, it's possible you just never really saw it. You know, I mean, it's not fair. I mean, I'm renting guitars, so I know these things, but... And so I got a refund, enough to cover the repair. I am going to try and do it myself, though. I'm at least I'm about to take it to bits. I'm going to take it to bits and see what's actually in there, because there's a few things I'm not really sure about. The posts are bent right, but this isn't an edge trim. This has just got like the standard base plate, so I don't know what sort of condition the actual blades are in. I don't know how damaged the wood is behind it. I think there'll be some way of fixing it, somehow. But so I now own my Ibanez RG, even though technically it's not an RG, it's a PGM. I can tell, even though I haven't been able to play it yet, I can tell it's going to be. There's a great guitar in here. It's just ill. It should be like the Formula One car that Ibanez RGs tend to be. And even, I mean, the last couple of months I've been thinking about getting an RG ever since Ian's Korean, the one with the pink glitter on it. Oh, it's very nice, but I mean, I'm a Japanese snob, so I was thinking, right, I need to get an RG. I want a Japanese one though. How much am I going to be able to get a Japanese RG for? And assuming that it might need a little bit of work or something, or get one that's just dirty. I wasn't expecting that kind of work, but yeah. And it's like I was looking at it, and actually someone, one of you guys sent me a link to it. It was a gold one, and I think it was a late 90s gold RG Japan. It was only 200 quid. But it was down south somewhere, and it was like the advert was gone by the time I'd looked at it. But it's like, so it's possible to get one. You find someone who doesn't really know what it is they've got, what difference it makes whether it's Japanese or Indonesian, and it's like, it does make a difference. So I wanted one anyway, and as I've always said about RGs, the thing that always gets me is they're a bit clinical, and they just don't have the look. I know it's only painted on F-holes on this, but it just looks so much better. It's instantly the Paul Gilbert guitar, which I like anyway. Okay, it's only got one volume control, and the 5-way levers here. Actually, the one I had one of these before, or not one of these. I had a RG321 mahogany, and I was going to paint it like this, but I couldn't do it because where the 5-way switches and the knobs are. See how here they're hidden, so you can't actually see them. Because they're in the F-hole, that's not where they are on a normal RG. It's a completely different position. So I mean, it wouldn't look right. It's got to that would, if I wanted to do it, I'd have to plug the holes and re-drill them. Can't afford doing that. Yeah. So next video, probably tomorrow's, I will be stripping this down and seeing what's inside. The strings on it are, although they said new in the advert, they might have been newly put on, but it's been sitting for a couple of months, so they're not new anymore. So I'm going to strip it down and just see exactly what we've got in here. I did get the tremolo bar, which I can now open. Didn't want to open any of this stuff because it's thingy. Yeah, so it's got the original, or I assume it's the originals that fit well. I might need to put something in it to. Is it going to sit? No, it sits level and everything. Yeah, that's going to be good. Yeah, so that's nice. Also, which I didn't mention before, when I bought this, I put an offer in, and the guy accepted the offer. But there is a mention in it saying something about DiMarzio pickups, and then I was like, yeah, I'll take the offer, but I want a bit more extra money for the. I didn't even say what kind they were. These are Evo pickups, white ones with gold poles on them, which is the Steve Vai set. So ended up buying the two of them, and which I wasn't expecting to get the matching single coil as well. So I do have a full set of pickups to put in this. Not sure exactly what I'm doing with that. I've got to put them in it at some point, but I think currently what I'm going to do is fix this, restring it, do the frets, get it playing properly with these pickups in it, see how they are, and then when it comes time for a string change, I'll change the strings and I'll put in the Evos just to see if they're worth that much money. I mean, they should be quite expensive, but if I can't really tell the difference, or they maybe don't sound as good as these ones. I mean, this is an Ibanez V7, and this I've got thoughts it might be a DiMarzio, or it could be an Ibanez V8 but doesn't have the logo on it. But I kind of want to know what it sounded like, get it working first before I do anything. So, my second new guitar of the year, well, the first one I bought it in the first, so I'm now an RG player. I'm obviously going to have to start, maybe get a lesson or two off Scott on how to do the a little bit better, because this is the sort of guitar that's for that. It's one of the reasons I wanted it is because it's going to force me to play slightly different, I think, because of what it is, because it does 200 mile an hour. I've got to learn to play 200 mile an hour, whereas even the RG530, which is it's the precursor to this, is a little bit sort of classier and more stratty, and it does do all the shred, but this one, it's for the shred, and so I need to learn to play lots of alternate picking and string skipping and all that on the way, and try and look at it as a bit more. So it might be a bit of a journey for me. If you actually look back in my Facebook or something like that, I definitely, when I bought my last RG, which must be nearly 10 years ago, the mahogany one, I did actually put a picture of it up with Paul Gilbert, because that was me. I'm a Paul Gilbert fan. It was like out of... again, is there a slight albatross round this's neck by, if I turn up to a gig with this, people are going to expect me to be able to play like Paul Gilbert? I don't know. I would worry a little bit about that, by having like the Gem, or not so much the Satriani one, but I think out of the three, out of the Gem, the Satch model, and this one, I think this is it just looks nice, and I've got a thing for white guitars, always have. The reverse headstock I could take or leave. It doesn't really make any difference to me. You get used to it, whatever. I don't know if I don't think I've got a guitar apart from, I've got a couple of double necks that I've got a left-handed neck on the bottom, so you could have the two necks like that. I don't think I've actually got an upside down headstock guitar. So we'll see what happens. It's an angled back one as well. So thanks for everyone's support. It's like the eBay thing's always a pig. I was just very conscious about trying to do the right thing, not wanting to screw the guy over. It's like I've had it before when it's like, if I sent an amp and the guy, say the model numbers are T50, but it's actually only 25 watts. So it's like, and it's like, right, I want all my money back. Like, well, you can either do that or you can send a courier. And I'm never in, so I won't be there for the courier, and you're just like, oh man, it's just like, just being a dick for the sake of it. I hope so much I wasn't doing that. I did buy a guitar that had issues that I didn't know about. If it had said there's something wrong with the bridge posts, I probably wouldn't even have been looking at it. I would just go, oh, right, okay, not bothering with that. Unless it was at what the price it's kind of at now. So I mean, I think once it's fixed, it'll look like I've got a really good deal. Currently, I don't think I really overpaid for it. Maybe the DiMarzio pickups might have laid it on. I wasn't really that interested in the pickups, to be honest. And to be honest, I quite like the black ones. I'm not sure the white ones would look as good, but everything has a price. There's a price where you go, oh, how much? Really? Is that all? Okay. And I was only buying two. I didn't think I was going to get three. So rock on. And the Antoria goldtop is excellent. It's a good Les Paul, and but you can get an Epiphone with a set neck on it for the same. The Epiphone, even the set, is nothing like as good as that. It's Japanese, built by hand. It's a much better guitar than any Epiphone I've ever played. I always put a wee caveat in there, because there were Japanese Epiphones, but they're really rare, and I've never played one. I very rarely see them for sale, so apart from possibly the Japanese Epiphones, miles better than all the Korean ones. Just a better guitar. Not worth as much money. It's not worth as much money because it's got a bolt-on neck, but bolt-on neck's actually a better thing. This guitar's got a bolt-on neck. You know, so Paul Gilbert wanted a bolt-on neck. Steve Vai wanted a bolt-on neck. Hendrix wanted a bolt. You know, it's like the bolt neck's a good thing. The thing that I would say about the bolt neck is if you're looking at, say, the cheapest Epiphone Les Paul has a bolt-on neck, because it is actually cheaper to make a bolt-on neck one. Whereas once you go up a couple of the range, you get to the set neck one, it's twice the price. And it's better. It's not better because it's got a set neck, it's better because everything else is better as well. You will, if you were to make a Les Paul for sale and you made it a bolt-on neck, it's probably going to cost you a couple of pounds less to build, but it'll be worth £100 less because people go, oh, it's a set neck. Real Les Pauls have set necks. Well, set neck. It doesn't improve anything. If anything, bolt-on necks are better. I've got set neck guitars. I know, I've got through neck guitars. It's nice having the through neck to go, look, this is a through neck. But I argue that I think the bolt-on neck's just it's a better system. It's a tighter join. Plus, you break the neck, you can put another one on, or you can take the neck off and fix it, or you can set the angle of the neck, or all these things which you can't do with a set neck. Also, if you just even look at how much wood-to-wood contact there is in a glued-on neck. I keep thinking this about SGs. There's very little in a Gibson SG that's joining the neck to the body. There's just wee bits, whereas like a bolt-on one, you've got definitely at least that, the size of the neck plate of two surfaces wood screwed together. That's pretty strong, as opposed to having an area that's instead of being that size is that size and it's glued. It's like, that's not as good a bolt as four big wood screws. Anyhow, rock on. I'll see you tomorrow. I don't think I'll have this playing for a while. I'm going to have a look at the posts and see if I can try and fix it. Failing that, I will just take it to Jimmy Egypt's and get if he can do that and do the frets really well and set it up. I don't think 120 quid's a bad deal for that. I think that's all right. You hear horror stories about, a setup. It's like, what is a setup? And it's like, maybe they're laying it off. It's like, the thing is, I know this one. You look at the saddles in this. There's no way that's right. It's like it's not that shape doesn't work. And it's obviously it's a floating trem as well, so it needs to be set so it floats and all that stuff. Right? But it's one of those things that it's like if I was doing a setup on the Antoria, which it was what it was in for. I cut the nut, but apart from that, wasn't really much of a setup. Well, I suppose I adjusted the intonation and the accent and the truss rod. But this will need that as well as the frets need done and bridge pull. I need to. I'm interested to see just how good a job you would do, because Jimmy Jeep's made guitars for years and years. I'd imagine his fret jobs are probably much better than what I can do. Just with the polishing, probably partly to do with having the right tools rather than bodging through with what I've got. But anyhow, so 40 minutes. So rock on. I'm definitely going now. I will see you tomorrow, and I will lose my. And thanks for everyone commenting and helping me through this difficult time. The thing is, I don't know if maybe anyone else realises, because I've been on the wrong end of the eBay thing. If you buy something on eBay and you don't like it, there's something wrong with it. I was getting the money back. There's nothing the seller could do to stop me. So basically, the guy at the other end, hi, if you're watching this, there wasn't anything he could do. It's like you could drag it out for longer, but ultimately I was going to PayPal would just have refunded me the money, and then eBay would have hunted him down to get the money off him. That's just the buyer's always right, which doesn't work if you get arseholes, which I've had before. It's like, not quite happy with it, and it's like, why? It's like, and it's like, it doesn't really matter. You can send it back and go, well, it's like, it's not as white as I thought it would be. I just lie and say, it's white, but it's kind of off white. It's 20 years old, so it's a sort of gone yellowy white. Want my money back, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you're the seller, you've got to pay for the postage back, so you don't get refunded for the postage. So you've paid, I don't know how, Parcel Bastard 24, who are also dicks as well. So it's like that must have cost, I don't know, 50, you'd say you'd feasibly be down 50 quid and getting a guitar back, and you're just like, yeah. So buying on eBay is okay. Selling, just be very careful. It's just fingers crossed. Hope it's all right. This guy was talking to me, which is nice. And whenever I do buy something off eBay, I always message when it arrives and say, "Got the guitar," and then maybe an hour later, "Guitar's great. Thanks very much," and then do the feedback thing. Whereas most people just go, "Oh, I got the guitar. I'm not bothered going on eBay again," and then it's like, so you're sitting there for like, I don't know, a month like that. I assume you got the guitar. You've not filed for a complaint. Did you get it? Yeah, you happy with it? Is it okay? Maybe, as opposed to just nothing. You're like, oh. It's buying a guitar. These guitars is not. It's not like buying a fucking microwave or a dishwasher or something like that. Yeah, got a microwave. Oh, it's pure amazing. I absolutely love my new microwave. No, you don't. You just wanted a microwave that worked. Whereas it's a guitar. It's a personal thing. It's got a lot in it. And I had to have. It had to be the PGM one. For my RG. Out of all the ones I was looking at, I think if you gave me a choice of any of the models, it would probably be this one. Or it would be the 300, not the 30. But I mean, as far as I can tell, the 300 is the same guitar, apart from it's got a maple neck, it's got a more advanced Floyd Rose on it, and it's got the DiMarzio pickups in it. Whereas this one currently I think has a DiMarzio, and I've got the evil one. So it's basically the pickups and the bridge are the difference between this one and the more expensive. Paul Gilbert. There's no videos for this online. Oh, there's a couple, but just more of your 3 minutes of somebody with no head going. Brrr! It's not really a review. So maybe if you see one of these for a good price, I would maybe be worthwhile having a look at it just now before I've done a video, and then when you type in Paul Gilbert review, there's a video of me actually telling you what it is. Not hugely advertised as being Japanese. This model was Korean for the first year in 1990 something. So, PGM 30, that's the Korean one. It's like, first year they were, not this one. Definitely got the Fuji Gen, says made in Japan in the back, which is because I'm a snob. So mate, right now I'm going to go, I'm talking for an extra 20 minutes after I decide to stop. Catch you all later, rock on.